So now the only money that's coming to you is the profit, right?
Yes,
Because you're not having to pay everybody.
That's right.
So you're making so much money. Are you laundering this money any sort of way? How are you legitimizing all this money? What are you doing with are you keeping it cash? What are you doing with it?
Yeah. So I didn't really do anything to legitimize it. I didn't launder it. I got a laundering charge, but I shouldn't have gotten a laundering charge because it wasn't laundering money, what they said. So all the money was on, I had like 30 of these credit cards, right? And you can spend money on a credit card, on a reloadable credit card, and it doesn't, like anything, you know, under certain amounts, under like this $10,000, this magical $10,000, like doesn't raise any red flag to the IRS, right? So
you just have an unlimited amount of these like $10,000 prepaid credit cards.
Yeah, I have like 30 of them, and they're full all the time, and you know, plus like,
and you just use those to do everything, get gas, go to dinner,
restaurants,
pay your. What about like your living expenses? You bought houses with this shit.
I bought houses with cash, so I still had a lot of cash too. So I was still picking up cash from Western Unions, but it wasn't that much. And what I also had is, so I had guys with these cards, right? I had an army of people who had their own, and I used to pay them 6%. Just I'd fill up their cards, tell me every week, bring me back, you know, a couple $1,000s, you know, and then I'd pay them 6% like that. You know, that's what they did. So I had a bunch of people doing this. So I was still getting cash. Like they got, so what would happen is they'd get it in their name. Right?
Okay.
So they order one of these credit cards in their name because it has to have a name to somebody.
Okay, I understand.
And then I would load their credit card slowly. Right. And I'd say, bring me back this cash. You know, when I first got a new person, I'd only put $1,000 on it and say, bring me back this cash. I'll give you 6%. But then it started, if they had 5 or 6 cards, it only takes them, a couple minutes at the ATM to pull out. You can only pull out like 300 at a time, twice a week, or they shut the cards down. We had to learn this the hard way.
Holy shit.
It got very complicated, but we learned exactly how to do it so they wouldn't shut the cards down, because it looks fraudulent if you're just pulling out cash, and we had a whole system.
Right.
It was actually very difficult, but it took us a long time and a lot of lost money to figure it out. But so I had these guys, you know, and they were bringing me $2, $3, $4, $5 grand a week. They get 6% of it, and it really only took them maybe an hour of their time total.
Right.
And they're making you know, good money. I don't know.
Wow.
$400 or $500 a week for an hour's worth of work.
That's fucking insane, man. And how is your life changing? Like, how is your lifestyle changing? Obviously this is 100% of your life every day. This is what your main thing that you're focusing on. Like, are you being extra careful not to like look like you have a lot of money? Or are you just like saying, fuck it, I'm going to buy this Lamborghini and this mansion? And
so at first that was the idea. And when I lived in the small city that I grew up in, it was important to do that because it would draw attention. Everybody knew me, and they knew that I was not wealthy if I suddenly exhibited, you know, all this opulence. Then which I, you know, it would look, and it would attract attention, and that's not what I wanted. But so I ended up, I was okay about that, and I didn't. One of the things I did wrong is I started going on vacations every like 6 weeks, and I would post about it on Facebook, and that was one of my mistakes because people could see that, and then and so I got robbed a few times because people would know when I was on vacation because I just posted about it, and then they come to my house and probably lost $100,000 and people robbed me.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So eventually, what happened? You get on the Fed's radar, right? Eventually, you get busted.
Yeah. So,
and how did you get? What was that like? Like, was it just like a out of nowhere they raided your house or what?
Yeah. I'll definitely go into that. I think there's build up to explain how it got there.
Okay.
So let me start there. To go about the money thing. When I moved to New York for a girl, actually. And when I moved to New York, I wasn't drawing attention by having money because there's a lot of people with money. So it wasn't as big of a deal there. So I could start, you know, doing things. I bought a brand new Jaguar F-Type. I didn't buy it. I leased it, but I paid for it in cash. Or I had to put a huge sum down. So this is the strange part. Like, I didn't have anything on the books. I had quit my my ER job.
Right.
I didn't have any money on the books, and so I just went and I found this guy who did leases, and I'm like, hey, look, I want to lease one of these cars. I don't have any proof of my income, but I have a lot of income. And he figured it out for me. And I was able to get a brand new top of the line Jaguar. It was freaking awesome. Jaguar F-Type. And then the same way, like in a very strange events, like I didn't have any income for my apartment either. So I had this, I moved into this like, this really nice place that nowadays would probably go for like $6,000 a month. And then I upgraded, and I eventually had this penthouse overlooking Manhattan on the Hudson River. And at the time I paid $9,000 a month for it. But it would go for a lot more now. The real estate market was different back then.
So you were renting places.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was able to get around to it. They had these clauses that allowed, I didn't have to prove income. It's kind of strange, but it worked out. Right.
I'm sure you wouldn't have to prove income if you paid like X amount of dollars up front.
Yeah.
Like I'll pay up front for this whole fucking place, or half, 50% up front,
Essentially, yeah.
It's amazing what you can do when you have a lot of cash.
So that's one of the lessons I learned too, is so there's a whole thing, like especially in my book, I go over what money does, what it does to people.
Yeah.
Not what it does to people. I don't even want to say it in a negative sense, because I think like having money that is seen as a negative thing, and it can change people negatively. And I don't, that's not necessarily true. It certainly can. Like, so people say that money changes you. And it does. Money is a representation of our value to society, right? What is it? It's just this paper, or it's numbers in a bank account, right? It's arbitrary. This is just man-created. It's not real. So, but what it does represent is our value to society, right? Because when we create value, for people, if we create value for a myriad of people in a very meaningful way, we are valuable to society, and that is translated into wealth or monetary, right? So the money is seen as, when people see that you have money, it's a representation of your value to society, and then it's respected. Mm-hmm. You have respect for somebody who can help a lot of people, right? And the more money you have, money is also like a panacea, right? It's an easy way to help everything. It's a panacea is something that can I don't know, almost like something that can take care of any problems, right? And that's kind of what money is. You can throw money at anything, almost anything, and take care of problems. And it's an easy way to help other people, right?
Right. So
when people see that you have money, it's a representation of your value to society, and you can easily help people. It's very easy. You need your rent paid. Oh, you want to go out to a nice dinner, blah, blah, blah. You want this. So it's respected. So when you just having money makes people respect and admire you, which also raises a dose response, right? So now when you get money, not only are you raising the dose response, and it can slowly go into something that's a little manic, right? Just because everybody's respecting you, everybody's showing you admiration, appreciation, you know. So if you're not cognizant of that, it can get a little out of control, and I'm no exception. But I was able to rein it in pretty quickly. But there was a period when I got a little manic over the amount of money that I had.